So you walked out to your car and there it is, that frustrating new dent. Ugh. Well, today we're going to figure out if you can get that thing fixed fast and affordably without having to go through a whole new paint job.
So let's get right into it. Before you even think about calling a traditional body shop for sanding and repainting, we're going to run through a quick little diagnostic right here, right now. Think of this as your personal guide to see if a method called Paintless Dent Repair, or PDR, is the answer you're looking for. And I've got some fantastic news for you right off the bat. The people who track this stuff, they say that a huge majority of minor dents and dings, I'm talking 80 to 90%, they actually qualify for PDR. So, the odds, they're already looking pretty good. So why is it the best option so often? Well, it's faster, it's almost always cheaper, and this is the real kicker. It preserves your car's original factory paint. And trust me, that is a huge deal when it comes to your car's resale value. All right, let's get hands-on. We're going to start with the first and honestly the most important check you can do yourself. This is the ultimate deal breaker for PDR, so let's take a close look. Here's the absolute #1 rule, the non-negotiable. PDR works under the paint. The whole magic of it is a technician carefully massaging the metal back into shape from behind. They're fixing the panel, not the paint itself. So if your paint is already cracked or chipped, PDR is off the table. Okay, so grab your phone's flashlight and get right up to that dent. Look at it from a few different angles. Do you see any of these signs? Like a scratch that's deep enough to catch your fingernail? Any little chips where you can see gray primer or bare metal? Or maybe little spiderweb-like cracks in the paint? If you see any of that, you're almost certainly looking at a traditional body shop repair. Now here's where things get really interesting. Most of us think a bigger dent is automatically a worse dent, right? But for PDR, that's not really true. It all comes down to the dent's geometry. Yeah, you heard that right. You could have a huge, shallow depression across your door panel that looks awful, but because the metal was just gently pushed in without any sharp creases, a good technician can often massage that metal right back into place. It's pretty amazing to watch. And here's the flip side. You could have a tiny little dent, maybe the size of a dime, that's absolutely impossible to fix with PDR if it's a deep, sharp little crease. When it comes to this kind of repair, the depth and the sharpness of the dent matter way more than its overall size. These are all red flags because they're signs that the metal has been stretched too far. Think of it like a piece of paper. You can bend it and it'll bounce back, but if you fold it and make a sharp crease, that line is there forever. It's the same with metal. PDR relies on the metal's memory to pop back into its original shape, and a sharp crease basically erases that memory. Okay, so let's move on to our final check. Let's say your paint is perfect and the shape of the dent is nice and smooth. The last big hurdle is simply where that dent is on your car. You know those crisp, stylish lines that run down the side of your car? Those are stamped in at the factory with tons of pressure. Once one of those lines gets dented, it's next to impossible for a technician to perfectly rebuild that sharp, manufactured edge by hand. They might get the dent out, but the body line just won't look as sharp as it used to. And this brings up another key point, the material. PDR only works on metal panels, so steel and aluminum. That means if your dent is on a plastic bumper or maybe a mirror cover or some other piece of trim, PDR isn't an option. Those parts usually need a different type of repair or just have to be replaced. And finally, there's the issue of access. A technician has to be able to get their tools behind the dent to gently push it out. Now, these guys are wizards at finding ways in. They'll remove trim panels, tail lights, you name it. But some areas are just completely blocked by structural braces, making it impossible to get behind the dent. So there you have it. We've gone through the 3 big checks: the paint, the shape, and the location. By now, you should have a much, much better idea of whether your dent is a good candidate for PDR. This little checklist right here is your new superpower. If you can answer yes to all 3 of these questions, there's a really strong chance PDR is the way to go. And now you can walk into a repair shop and have a confident, informed conversation. But just remember, this self-check is an awesome guide, but it's not the final verdict. An expert has special tools and lights that let them see things you just can't. And they know all the little tricks to get into spots that look totally unreachable. And you know what the best part is? Finding out for sure costs you absolutely nothing. A professional estimate is almost always free, and it only takes a few minutes. So there's really no reason to guess when you can get a definite answer from a pro.
So, with everything we just went over, you're not just some person with a dent anymore. You're an informed car owner. You know exactly what to look for, what questions to ask, and how to find the fastest, smartest repair for your car. Now go get that free estimate.